Hello, welcome to Silenced Voices, a page where we explore the truth behind Kenya's most haunting cases while honoring the victims and respecting the law. All cases presented are based on publicly available records and verified reports. She ran with grace, she loved with hope, but she died in fire, set ablaze by a man who once said, "I do." This is the story of Rebecca Cheptegei, a young Ugandan athlete silenced by domestic violence. Rebecca Cheptegei was born on the Kenyan side of the Kenya-Uganda border on 22nd February 1991 to John and Agnes Cheptegei, and was the second of the 13 siblings. Rebecca Cheptegei lived in Kapchorwa, a district in eastern Uganda, home to some of the greatest long-distance runners in the world. She grew up in a modest home, surrounded by farmland, forest, and mountain air that made champions. Like many girls in the village, Cheptegei walked kilometers to school, barefoot, but what set her apart was her speed. She was fast, not just playground fast, champion material. At the age of 14, she was spotted at a district athletics by a local coach who noticed her strides and invited her to train with other girls. He said this to her, "You're not fast, you are born for this." In 2021, when Cheptegei was only 19 years old, she participated in the IAF World Cross Country Championship, which was held in Poland, and was 15th. She later participated in Germany. In the same year, she won in Kampala 10,000 meters race in Uganda, and here her career began to bloom, and she was known in Kampala and beyond. Cheptegei continued setting world records for herself and her country. In 2024, she competed in the women's marathon at Summer Olympics in Paris, finishing in the 44th place, and this will be her last and final race. Cheptegei was a mom to two beautiful daughters, aged 11 and 9 years old. Cheptegei met a man named Dickson Diema Maragach in 2021. But who is Dickson Diema Maragach? Cheptegei's father, Mr. John, described Dickson as Cheptegei's friend. The media described Dickson as Cheptegei's ex-boyfriend, and the police officials described Dickson as Cheptegei's boyfriend. Dickson Diema Maragach was a Kenyan man who gained international fame for his involvement in the tragic death of the Ugandan Olympic marathoner Rebecca Cheptegei. Born in the modest background, Maragach was a former motorcycle rider and an aspiring athlete. He met Cheptegei in 2021 during her training sessions in Kenya. At that time, Cheptegei was living in Uganda, and Maragach encouraged her to relocate to Kenya to train in Litein, a renowned high-altitude training hub for long-distance runners. She eventually moved to a village in Kinyoro, Trans Nzoia County. In 2021, she built a two-bedroom house to facilitate her training. Cheptegei supported Maragach financially during their relationship, covering expenses such as rent and training equipment. Despite this assistance, their relationship reportedly became strained over time. In the months leading up to the incident, Cheptegei had reported to the police multiple times about Maragach's threatening behavior and harassment. She had also expressed her concerns about the land dispute involving property that she had purchased in Kinyoro, which Maragach allegedly claimed ownership of. On the morning of Sunday, September 1st, 2024, Olympic marathon runner Rebecca Cheptegei was preparing to go to church from her home in western Kenya. Her ex-boyfriend, Mr. Maragach, called a friend to ask if he could borrow a lighter. He said he had an emergency, but the friend declined the request since he was being very secretive. Hours later, Maragach would attack Rebecca Cheptegei as she was coming from church in her home. According to the neighbors, the couple were heard quarreling outside their house. During the altercation, the boyfriend was seen pouring a liquid on the woman before burning her. Rebecca was seen running as she was shouting for help. One neighbor went to look for water and started calling out for help. Her assailant appeared again and dosed more petrol on her. But then Baragach got burnt and he ran off towards the garden to try and put it out.
Hasa venye alitupa hii mfuko hivi kwa nyumba, na huyo mtu kumba alikuwa ready kwa hiyo nyumba, amesha kuja mapema akaingia kwa hiyo nyumba. Hasa venye alitupa hii mfuko na wanamwagia petroli. Na yeye naye akapenduka mbio akakimbia hivi. Venye alifika mahali fulani hapa akamwagia tena ya mkongo na anamfinyia kuna nini ya hii ya kufinya hii. Kafinyia hiyo na huyo akaendelea kuungua. Hasa wakati aliungua akapirindika kwa nyasi hapa. Hiyo nyasi haikumuokoa. Akatoa sweta ile alikuwa nayo. Sasa wakati alitoa hii sweta, akatupa hii sweta hapo ilikuwa na simu ndani ikaungua. Na huyo mchamaa tena akaruti akamuongezea petrol. Wakati aliongeza hiyo petrol, akawa anaita Tori nisaidie na blanketi. Tori akaenda kwa nyumba. Wakati alienda akaingia kwa nyumba na akatoa yeye kwa nyumba mbio na panga akataka kukata mtoto. Sasa wakati alitaka kukata mtoto, huyo mtoto akatoka nje ya gate na akafungua hiyo gate.
Her neighbors finally rescued her and Cheptegei was rushed to the Moi Referral Hospital in Eldoret. Cheptegei suffered severe burns covering 80% of her body and died from multiple organ failure on September 5th, 2024. Rebecca's story is not the first and not the last. Athletes, women rights activists, and citizens were shook and cried, "How many more? How can we protect our daughters?" Rebecca's story reignited a national conversation on domestic violence, jealousy, and the culture of silence around abuse. She never won an Olympic gold. She never got to hear a stadium cheer her name. But today, in Kapchorwa and across East Africa, she runs in memory. She was Rebecca Cheptegei, a runner, a fighter, a woman silenced by the very hands that she held. This is Silenced, the stories they tried to bury. Like and subscribe. Share her name, speak her truth, because silence protects no one.
I have Michael Chaborian.
Congratulations, RDC with us, Cow, Wasap County. And so, light.
Announcement, right, is DJ put music.
The Federation for also support.
The one you see is 11 years, and then this one is